As many as 160,000 students stay home on any given day because they're afraid of being bullied.
Bullying is defined as intentional cruelty, harassment, and emotional and physical abuse.
If they're out of your care, they're in someone else's who's just as capable as you of keeping them safe, and I don't feel like that.
I've ridden 54. I've been on that route. I've been on a couple of them. They are just as good as gold.
We began in April of 2009, around the time 2 young people had taken their own lives from suicide due to bullying. So while I think it's amazing to be at the end of the journey with the film, in a lot of ways I think we feel that the journey with the work that we have to do as a society, as a culture, in our schools and in our communities really still feels like there's a lot to be done.
Bully is a documentary following the lives of 5 students who deal with bullying on a daily basis. Oftentimes, the child being abused will comply with the pain simply because they have given up hope or because there is no intervention.
Do you understand that at some point you've gotten used to this? And I'm not. I'm not used to it because I didn't know, and I'm not about to get used to it. Does it make you feel good when they punch you? Or kick you? Or stab you? Do these things make you feel good?
No. Well, I don't know. I'm starting to think I don't feel anything anymore.
Friends are supposed to make you feel good. That's the point of having them. Your only connection to these kids is that they like to pound on you.
If you say these people are my friends, then what friends do I have?
Bullying is one of the many issues ignored by the older generations. Unfortunately, it is oftentimes accepted as a norm of growing up. Many adults admit to being bullied as children and how it has affected them as adults.
I just think bullying is something that affects everyone, including myself. I mean, I remember being bullied as a kid. It was like a rite of passage. It was like, you get bullied, deal with it. You know, obviously that's not right. And so I'm so glad this issue is being brought to light and this incredible documentary was made.
This controversy has reached the ears of many celebrities, including Ellen DeGeneres, Leanne Rimes, Chelsea Handler, Joe Jonas, and Juliana Rancic.
I think this is such an important film. I got the chance to watch it over the weekend, and it raised so many questions. It made me think about things that I had never really thought about. In particular, what's the solution? Where is the solution? Is it in the schools? Is it with teachers? Is it, with parents? Is it with the kids themselves?
I feel like this movie has the potential of changing a lot of minds and changing a lot of behaviors and the way parents and children look at each other. A lot of parents close their eyes to what's going on in the classroom, whether their child's being bullied or whether their child could potentially be a bully.
I think bullying impacts everybody. I think that it's a piece of our collective story. And when teenagers see it, they talk about it, and they see their own way to access and create change. And like, that's incredible. And we see it time and time again. And so the more kids that see it, and youth, the more, I think, the more change that can be created. It's just, it adds up and builds up. And it's like David Long in the film said, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, eventually we have an army that can defeat anything. And nothing's more powerful than youth when they organize and make a decision that they're going to do something. And so we want to inspire that change and see it happen.
The purpose of this movie is to raise awareness of the traumatizing effects of bullying.
Bully will be coming to a theater near you. Stay tuned for the trailer.
The last couple of days, we had heard that Tyler had his head shoved into a wall locker. They said he's a geek.
My concern is that you were making someone feel so uncomfortable that they didn't want to be in school.
I feel kind of nervous going to school because I like learning, but I have trouble with making friends.
They said he's a geek. Some kids had told him that he is worthless, to go hang himself. And I think he got to the point to where enough was enough.
Tonight, a tragic situation.
A Perkins boy, just 11 years old, believed to have been desperate enough to take his own life.
This is an awfully complicated and difficult issue.
Kids will be kids, boys will be boys. They're just cruel at this age.
Here, what we get is nothing's wrong. We didn't do anything. Everything's fine.
They punch me, strangle me, take things from me, sit on me.
Give it to him hard!
He's not safe on that bus.
I've been on that bus. they are just as good as gold.
My voice is not going to fall silent. I will go to my grave until a difference is made.
We reached out to parents that have lost kids, parents of kids that are being bullied all over the world, and it took off like wildfire.
All it takes is for one person to stand up.
Be the difference. Go out and find that one child, that new kid standing over there by himself. Be willing to stand up for him.
Everything starts with one and builds up. Eventually we have an army.
If we all do it together, we will change the world.
You're so fat, you fat pig, you smell horrible. You smell like a wet dog after you just rolled around in the mud and poop. No friends, doesn't have anyone. I don't even think your mother loves you anymore. Ugly, smelly, rat dog, pig. That's what you look like, a rat dog pig. You're a rat, a dog, and a pig combined.
I don't like being insulted.
Computers don't like being insulted, neither do we.
Every book is an adventure waiting to come to life. Visit new worlds. Encounter new friends. And discover the power of reading. Go to read.gov to read A Princess of Mars, the first novel to feature John Carter. A new world awaits. Read.
I'm sure we all remember the classic board game Battleship. The goal was to sink your opponent's or enemy ship by putting red markers on a board which signified missiles. Too many hits and your ship was sunk. But what happens when the game is brought to life on the big screen in live action? Director Peter Berg took on the idea, and with an interesting extraterrestrial twist.
Today really marks the first stage of an unprecedented technological advancement. We have begun to identify a so-called Goldilocks planet.
Goldilocks planets are planets that have a similar sun that burns about as bright as ours.
If a planet's too far away from its sun, it's too cold. If it's too close to its sun, it's too hot. But for an Earth-like planet, the distance is just right, potentially perfect for sustaining life.
What we're doing is we're sending out radio signals into deep space.
High-frequency signals, which are basically beacons saying, hey, if you can hear this, we're out here, we're Earth, hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to bear witness to the making of history.
We send a signal out, and that signal gets a response.
This is legitimate extraterrestrial contact.
Oh my God. They've sent a recon group that has made contact with the Earth, and they're taking core Earth samples. They're seeing whether or not the geology of our planet is suitable to them, and if it is, they're gonna make a call back home, and a lot more of them are gonna come.
If 5 ships can do this, what do you think 50 can do, or 500,000?
Pete's conception, it was David versus Goliath. We were the underdogs, we were weaker, we are not as powerful, but using our wits and our intuition and our logic, we can figure out a way to level the playing field.
Let's see if we can't buy the world another day. Who talks like that?
There's a huge visual effects component to Battleship. The alien ships and the creatures had to be really dynamic.
We, from the outset, wanted to work with ILM.
These guys are so enthusiastic and really love to push the envelope, and they never say no to an idea. It's gotta be.
The work they do is second to none.
We wanted to create an alien that felt as though he came from some environment that felt relatable to a human.
You've got a combination of mechanical parts which are integrating with flesh.
I love the way this is bored into his leg there. See that? You've never done anything this good. You might have outdone yourself.
My role was really just to work on the suits of armor. That was actually really challenging. We had to build specific armor to one side and then build different armor on the other side.
Pete had this idea that one arm could be a tool. We actually built these proxy pieces that you could wear on an arm.
The thing that ILM is known for is the incredible realism.
Our philosophy is that the best performance capture happens live on location. Our thugs and our regents are suited up in kind of these gray suits, and they have their tracking band.
All of those dots on the suits define a three-dimensional spot in space. We're able to get cameras that will tell us exactly what that motion is, and then we can replicate that motion onto the alien characters.
Originally, when we shot these, all these aliens were stunt performers.
Pete calls them pajama guys. And it's motivating because we want to replace all the pajama guys with our creatures, and it looks fantastic when we do. It just takes time.
Put some movement into this. Let's go.
Recently, the film, which is set to be released domestically on May 18th, opened in Japan on April 11th. The cast and crew caught up with the media on the red carpet to discuss the film.
It's been a two-year journey that actually started about 40 years ago when I was a little boy, and my dad used to take me to Navy museums and pound the importance of naval history into me, and it must have stuck because we're about to rock the Navy out hard.
It was really nerve-wracking, to be honest, but it was a really thrilling experience working with Peter Berg, the director. He really had a way of making it special and helping me to get there. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew exactly how to get it. I just think it's a really cool spin on the game. It's really interesting because there's a twist with the aliens. Again, the Navy. We have a lot of real Navy veterans in the film. We had a lot of help from the Navy, actually, so I think that's what's really going to be unique about this.
The fans have embraced me and the film, the cast, since day one. You know, I've been here probably 3 or 4 times in the last few months, and I love coming here, so it's been great. And to premiere it here, world premiere, is a great time. I think just, you know, I think it'll surprise a lot of people with the heart that lies within it. And, you know, of course it's a spectacle and it's all about escape and the journey and such an action flick, but there really is, it's infused with a lot of heart.
Do you know what it means to have someone's back? To have another life depend on you and only you? When you say, I've got your 6, you're saying, I've got your back. In victory or defeat, in battle or back at home, this is a code, a promise that is extended to those serving in the U.S. military. So why should that promise disappear when they return home? For U.S. servicemen and women, there are many obstacles facing them as they return home, from jobs to education to homeless and more. Got Your 6 is committed to getting the backs of one of the country's greatest assets, our military veterans and their families. To find out how you can support military veterans and their families, go to gotyoursix.org.
Touchback is a 2011 film directed by Don Hanfield. It stars Brian Presley and Kurt Russell. Touchback is a sports version of It's a Wonderful Life. Brian Presley was a perfect fit for the job, given that he was a quarterback for his high school football team that won the state championship.
Grew up playing high school football. I won a state championship in Oklahoma as a quarterback. And
on the game-winning play, Murphy, the nation's best high school football player, injures his knee and destroys his dreams of future in football.
This is it, folks. A victory here would be a fairy tale ending. We're in this thing. We're in it. Scott Murphy. He's got one final play to make a miracle happen. Hey, he's gonna run it. To the 5. Touchdown! Murphy got absolutely rocked on that play.
After the injury, Scott Murphy is a good guy that helps everyone in a small town. He has planted soybeans in a place where everyone is growing corn. The bank is about to foreclose on his farm, which will leave his family destitute. He thinks he can help them with what appears to be an accident. Scott Murphy ended up marrying his high school sweetheart, who was a cheerleader during high school. About 15 years later, he gets to relive the few days leading up to his accident that hurt his leg in football and cost him his football scholarship and a life of wealth and football glory. He seems to realize that if he changes his fortune, that he may lose his future wife and kids. He asks his wife when he goes back in time to trust him and choose his way because her way did not work out. Kurt Russell plays a solid cultural mentor role. He makes Scott realize to think of the present and worry about the future later.
Coach, come on, I have a future. Do you know what the future is, Scott? The future is just a bunch of what you do right now strung together. And right now, all you're doing is giving up. And trust me, there's no future in that. Scott, I hope you don't give up this easy in life. Because it gets a hell of a lot harder than football.
The moral of the movie is to eliminate the what-if factor and to accept the fortunes that God has given you.
The message of the movie is to really accept the path that God sent you down and be content with what you do have versus what you don't have.
Kate, you're really gonna answer that?
It's fine.
Kate, watch out!
Texting while driving results in 1.6 million accidents a year in the United States and 6,000 deaths.
Keep friends alive. Don't text and drive.
The All-American classic, G.I. Joe, is back. Following the first film, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, Paramount Pictures sequel, G.I. Joe, Retaliation. G.I. Joe, Retaliation, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Bruce Willis, Channing Tatum, and much more, are here in New York at the Toy Fair 2012. The starring actors are here celebrating the unveiling of Hasbro's new G.I. Joe action figures, a part of the film's announcements.
I am here at the Toy Fair. We are unveiling all of our G.I. Joe toys. Hasbro, as a matter of fact, unveiling a line of toys from a few different movies, big blockbuster movies that they have coming out. So it's great to be here in New York City. Great to see all of our partners and distributors, and above all else, it's always great to see my face behind me.
The first G.I. Joe movie was released in 2009. However, G.I. Joe has a history to itself, to which even the director, John Chu, can recall from his childhood.
I mean, this is a dream come true to finally be able to, well, one, make a G.I. Joe movie. I grew up as a kid loving G.I. Joe. I play with all my little figures, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Roadblock, in my backyard. They'd be in the mud, in the sand. They'd be in the trees, in between the couches, and of course, if a limb fell off, that was even better.
The original concept of G.I. Joe was introduced in the 1960s. Toy companies were looking to appeal to children with an iconic American hero who would persevere the harsh years during Vietnam. A hero, though, cannot take down the forces of evil alone. Toy companies had incorporated all four branches of the military to accompany the American hero. As with every hero, there are the villains. The notorious Cobra Command, who seek to take over the world. Aside from the war fighting and the action-packed scenes, director John Chu wanted a character who would both be a leader and charming.
When I got onto the movie, one of the characters that I wanted to put into the script was this character of Joe Colton, the original Joe, to help bridge all the Joe fans together. And again, we had to go back to the well and think, all right, who is the ultimate action hero who would be the original? Who's like the most pure, like iconic? And of course, Bruce Willis was on the top of that list.
Bruce Willis, starring as the Joe's leader, is an all-American vet who also adds a bit of comedy to his role.
We have to assume that there's no one we can trust.
There is one man.
You all right?
Yeah. You all right?
My cholesterol's a little high.
G.I. Joe Retaliation is an all-American favorite, remastered, revamped, and pumped full of action.
In the immortal words of Jay-Z, whatever deity may guide my life, dear Lord,
Don't let me die tonight.
This Earth Day,
Everyone, please, don't panic!
you can help the environment.
Wow.
Don't litter.
Can't you throw imaginary food to your imaginary pet?
Reduce gas emissions.
Whoa, excuse me.
And protect our waters.
This is my first bath in decades.
I don't want to see that.
On April 22nd, join Keep America Beautiful and the Herd and practice environmental acts of niceness. You can make the world a greener place. Visit Keep America Beautiful at KAB.org to get involved.
Snow White and the Huntsman is the newest action fantasy to hit the big screens. In this alternate interpretation of the classic story, Queen Ravenna hires the huntsman Eric to capture Snow White, who has escaped into the dark forest. Snow White is the only one destined to surpass the Queen as fairest of them all, and as well as the future ruler of the kingdom. This is why the Queen must consume Snow White's heart to ensure her power and achieve immortality. The huntsman, already defiant to the Queen's orders, takes side of Snow White when meeting her. He teaches her the art of war, and together, along with Prince Charming and the 7 dwarves, lead a revolution against the Queen. Charlize Theron, Kristen Stewart, Chris Hemsworth, and Sam Claflin portray the characters of Queen Ravenna, Snow White, Huntsman Eric, and Prince Charming. The director, Rupert Sanders, wanted to create a vision of darkness that would truly astound the audience. The sets and imagery take you into another world of fantasy, unlike any other seen before.
Everything that we're shooting is either a real location or we're building immense sets.
It kind of takes your breath away every time you turn up to work.
Rupert is a very visual guy. He captures almost every kind of landscape. We go through the dark forest, the sanctuary, the kingdom in its Camelot stage of richness, and the kingdom in its disintegration.
Chatting away, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Here we go.
During Magnus's reign, life was amazing. There was a sense of peace, and so our dressing really reflects that everything is very colorful, and there was a lot happening. When Ravenna comes along, this ash has just covered the world. Her lands are burnt.
The Queen really symbolizes death, and Snow White is the beating heart of life.
There is a grittiness here, and it's a grittiness that strikes me as profoundly medieval.
This is an incredible opportunity to create a world that people haven't seen before.
Once the lights go off, we all want to go into a different world.
Charlize Theron gives a fantastic portrayal of the evil Queen. Her fierce and hard attitude fit perfectly for the role.
The Queen is death. She has no heart.
Ravenna's mission really is to live within the greatest means of power.
She's the darkness within us all.
But as an insider playing her, I had to not think about those things.
She's perfect to play the Queen because she's got this presence.
She has this icy cold kind of evil stare that she throws at you.
She can level you.
When you come across a part like that, you take advantage of it.
You know, I wouldn't want to fight her.
Snow White and the Huntsman opens in theaters this summer. Be sure to check it out, and here's the official trailer.
Do you hear that? It's the sound of battles fought and lives lost. It once pained me to know that I am the cause of such despair. But now, their cries give me strength. Beauty is my power. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is fairest of them all?
You are the fairest, but there is another destined to surpass you. Consume her heart, and you shall live forever.
Find me someone who doesn't fear the dark forest to hunt her down.
Why is she of such value?
That is none of your concern.
And if I refuse?
Lips red as blood, hair black as night. Bring me your heart. My dear, dear Snow White.
Hunger is our planet's greatest solvable problem.
Around the world, people everywhere are affected by hunger.
Let's make a difference. Join us and help stop hunger.
Find us on Facebook for more information.
Hi, Passaic Valley. I'm here in the Farrell Gym where the annual blood drive is being held. The Future Doctors of America Club and Red Cross have teamed up in order to hold this event.
Many students today have volunteered to donate blood for those in need. The Red Cross Association has shown great appreciation in Passaic Valley's involvement in this event.
My reason for donating is because I learned that my blood type is O positive, which is a universal blood type, so I can save more lives. And the double pint that I did, it goes straight to emergency rooms and like emergency care trauma units and stuff. So,
well, as president, I've had to help plan it. Like for the past month, we've been planning it, getting everybody signed up that wants to give blood and organizing everything, the schedule, getting their permission slips, making sure they can donate, and helping to set up and get ready today also for the event.
I think it's a way of getting students, teachers, anyone in the community to participate for a very good cause.
It really means a lot to me because, you know, donating blood is such a good cause. It's going to go and help lots of people that need it, lots of people with cancer and stuff like that, and to be able to help be a part of saving people's lives, it really means a lot.
After giving blood, physically I feel a little drained and dizzy, but emotionally it's rewarding. It's a rewarding feeling.
Normally I just feel a little nauseous and lightheaded, like they get real hot. And some pass out, but that doesn't happen often. Most of the time it's just, you know, I feel hot and you just put rags on my face.
Students from Future Doctors of America have been very, very helpful. I think that we're getting a great turnout. It's organized smoothly. I really don't foresee any problems, and I would love to do it again next year. This is our third year doing it, and learning from our past experience this year really has been much, much smoother.
Blood donating is something I would participate in again. I did it last year here at school, and I feel like it's something I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Today's event has been an overall success with 120 students donating blood altogether. Through the continued support of everyone here year after year, many lives are being saved.
The Red Cross and today's participants are working towards making a difference and helping others. Once again, Dr. Pantano and the entire FDA club has organized a successful event.